Hello. So here I am today at SpecialEffect, which is a charity. Here I am today at SpecialEffect, which is a charity that aims to bring accessible gaming to people with physical disabilities. Emma said I had to look serious.
Why?
You know, I can't just be silly all day when it's a video like this. Can I use this mask to scare the people that work here?
The first tech we're going to look at is called eye gaze, which is a camera that follows your eye movements and then uses them to control a cursor on a screen. And this sort of tech would usually be used by someone who has little to no mobility in their body.
So what we're going to do is we're going to set this up so that it can recognize the shape of my eyes in order to locate them on the screen. It's just like the Wii. They hate it when I say that.
So we do the initial setup while I ask if we can pretend that eye gaze actually involves removing your eyeballs.
So tell me, could we set this up so that I could have a go using my eyeballs?
Yep, we'll just need your eyeballs.
See, now they're catching on. Disclaimer, this software does not remove your eyeballs. And we calibrate the software so that I can play Fallout 4. And you'd think this would be complicated, but it only took me about 1 minute.
Oh, I'm great at this.
And before I knew it, the computer was tracking my eye movements, then 10 seconds later, I was playing the game.
Much easier than setting up the Wii, am I right?
The way it works is fairly straightforward. Where I look on the screen is where my character will face. And rather than press buttons on a keyboard, the buttons appear on the screen and you press them by looking at them. It's incredible. After I'd only been playing for a few minutes, I was still able to... Top-notch programming there, Bethesda. I know it's a charity video, but I can't help myself. I'd only been playing for a few minutes and I was still able to explore and defeat these bloatflies.
This is just incredible.
Though it did of course help having dog meat by my side. Help me, dog meat!
Dog meat, come on.
Do something! Now, because our eyes only look in one place at a time, as you play, you use them to press one button at a time. So things like walking are just toggled off and on, leaving you free to press other buttons while your character walks. But in situations where users can use even just one other physical button, it makes this software even more versatile. But the point is, I let go and have some fun.
I could probably help for a few caps extra.
How do I even know what caps are? Sorry, I'm critiquing the game while I'm supposed to.
You can imagine how meaningful this is to someone who can't actually physically get out and walk.
And such a person is Sam here, who's used eye gaze to explore the opening of Fallout 4, though he has spent a lot more time using eye gaze for games like Civilization 6.
I went to visit him actually, and we saw on Windows settings you can see when your active hours are, and he said something like 3 a.m. because he just spends like all night just playing Civilization 6.
And I would agree that is time definitely well spent, as long as Gandhi doesn't nuke you.
So what we're going to do now is we're going to look at how eye gaze allows you to play Minecraft. And we have Harry here.
Hello!
I'm sorry, I'm terrible at this. Now, it's key here to note that Fallout 4 needed to be set up and customized by the genius programmer Sachin here. But iMine is a program that is ready out of the box that you can download and play now from the SpecialEffect website.
You just need the game, your Minecraft account, one of the cameras, you download the whole thing, installs itself, you're good to go. Anyone can play iMine anywhere in the world.
Let's do it.
So Harry set up the very quick calibration for me, which involves looking at these blue dots until they explode, which I will admit was almost as fun as the game itself. And after about a minute of setup, a cursor appeared that tracked my eye movements. Here we can see that Minecraft is a great fit for eye gaze, as you can get by with not too many buttons. You look at the mining button and you start to mine. There's a place block button for placing objects, and a walk button for walking. And most importantly, there's an attack button. Yes. Die! Harry works for a serious charity and I constantly shame him with my murder.
But the whole idea of it was to give people access to, this large creative world, this way of being creative and free. They can build whatever they want, they can be whoever they want, hang out with their friends, and having a physical disability shouldn't be a barrier to that.
There we go, I think that's redeemed all of my terrible actions. Anything important to say, me?
I'm just destroying this beautiful world.
Great. Also, I have to say this, I couldn't believe that this software was called iMine. Seriously, none of this stuff is about removing anyone's eyes. Anyway! So before we move on, I just want to say that everyone who works here at SpecialEffect was so great and welcoming, and they all clearly love their jobs here.
Sachin, have you got the accounts ready?
Yep, all paid in.
I don't think Sachin has anything to do with accounts, but I'm not going to judge. They also made me this absolutely incredible cake. I couldn't believe it. They even gave me a knife to cut it, which I think they regretted.
Slice. I'm the best knife cut cake.
But we all got to enjoy the cake like civilized adults. I'm really sorry I ruined this lovely moment. And now back to some more gaming.
Woo! Whew, I just had a very strong coffee with lunch.
Seriously, I think Paige was trying to poison me.
So what we're going to do now is we're going to move away from eye gaze and look at some accessible tech if you can interact it with your body or your hands as opposed to just using your eyes. But Harry's here to tell us about it.
What we've got set up here is a replica of an adapted gaming setup that we might use with like a service user. With this little white box here on the table, that is the Xbox adaptive controller. But on the back, it's got a bunch of little ports, and there's one for the A button, B button, D-pad up, D-pad down.
So how it works is SpecialEffect take this adaptive controller that plugs into your Xbox, and there's one for a PlayStation 2, and then connect specialized buttons to it, and they effectively build you a larger scale controller that you can interact with however suits you. This setup here would be for a user who may not have steady control of their fingers, like someone with cerebral palsy or a high spinal injury, and thus the joystick is controlled with the chin, Blue Steel, and to match this sort of setup, the main buttons below are much larger and more sensitive than a traditional controller. And so here we go. So I'm using this setup today to play Sonic Racing, and wow, it certainly is something. With characters like Sonic, Music Gator, Sonic, Sonic, and Sonic. How could you go wrong? So the race starts, and...
Wait, no, I'm reversing.
After that terrible start though, things got back on track and it all worked perfectly. See, what's so good about these setups is they aren't that different from what we already know with traditional controllers. Oh my god, I'm in first place! But also, this setup should be able to work for any game with one joystick, like most racing games, 2D games, and a lot of Switch games. It's simple, but it gives so many options for so many games, Blue Steel. And best of all, because there are so many different buttons and orientations that you can put each button, any user can have their own unique setup, as Harry here explains.
What the occupational therapist will do when they go to someone's house, they will be assessing where people have movements, what size button, what size switch, where the joysticks could go, so that we can get the absolute maximum out of what little movements people may have.
And I joke about this game, but overall I had a really great time using this setup. And yeah, here we go, I finally got an item, and it's a... What is this game?
And so that's basically the end of all the major kit I used on the day. But I also got to sit down with Paige Harvey, who is the community manager for SpecialEffect, to ask her some questions. So sit back and enjoy my awkward introductions, my frankly terrible hair. I have no idea what happened to it that day, but do enjoy Paige's excellent explanations. Today we've seen loads of accessible technology to help us play video games. Can you tell me a little bit about how much this costs?
For the people that we help, absolutely nothing. It's never going to cost people anything. When you are disabled, there's a lot more costs that come along with that. So you're talking food, transport, home, like having your heating on more often, things like that. So the services that SpecialEffect provide are completely free.
So how is it funded then if it's all completely free for the users?
We're funded entirely by our supporters, so we don't have any, sort of governmental grants or anything like that. But what we have is an incredibly dedicated group of supporters and fundraisers from within the games industry, from streamers, from YouTubers. People that go out and do fun runs, they bake cakes, and every single penny that they donate literally goes back into helping people with playing games, with technology, with talking to their loved ones, to accessing schooling.
And how big is Game Blast as a part of all of that?
Oh, Game Blast is big. Game Blast is one of my favourite things in the entire world.
Tell me about it.
Game Blast is one of our big fundraising events. Happens every February, right at the end, last weekend. And what we do is we invite the global gaming community to join us, whether that's industry, whether that's streamers, content creators, YouTubers, TikTok, and we say, run a stream. Do what you normally do, but do it for charity.
And that's where we come in. This Saturday the 25th at 5 PM GMT, I'll be streaming Fallout 4 to raise money for SpecialEffect, to help them get all of the accessible gaming tech you've seen today to the people that really need it. And if you're a streamer, and even if you're not, I'd encourage you this weekend to do a stream for Game Blast. All the details you need to do so are linked in the description below.
But you can donate to SpecialEffect right now using my Tiltify link in the description. And this will be the same link that I'm going to use in my stream to raise money during that. There was one last thing though. I asked Paige why SpecialEffect primarily use all this technology and time on video games, and she gave such a fabulous response, I've saved it until the end.
So a lot of people, when they think of games, they think of, shooty games and things like that, and, people being alone in their rooms. It's not like that at all. A lot of the people that we work with, they just want connection and family. And there's been lots of families we've worked with who've said, my little boy can't go out and play football with his brothers, so he just has to sit inside and wait. And we said, no, thank you, that's rubbish. So we get them all set up with like EAFC, and then they can all play football together and get to compete in the exact same way. It's bringing together lives. It's having fun. It's an escape from some of the parts of life that aren't that accessible. That's why we love it. It does so much good.
Honestly, listening to that does make me a bit emotional. But it's all true, you know, gaming to me is the most amazing medium out there, and making it available to everyone is something completely invaluable. So thank you all so much for watching. Thank you to SpecialEffect for hosting me, and thank you to all of you that are going to come and watch my stream this Sunday at 5 p.m. GMT on this channel. I'm not very good at ending videos. Bye!